So I've had a sucky month, all right, guys. I've had nothing but failures this month, and I want to share with you exactly like how I've failed and what I've done about it as well. And the reason why is I was speaking with a friend recently, and the friend actually runs a super successful business. And they were saying to me, it's great that you've got this audience who kind of watch your videos and things. They watch your how-to videos, they watch you talking about theories and concepts. But what they don't watch you do is talk about like your failures. You don't seem to talk about your failures. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I think you're right. I think I should start actually talking about like my weaknesses, start talking about my failures. And I think, as a guy, I know there's a lot of guys who watch this channel. We have almost like a lot of pressure on us to, I don't know where it comes from, but we have like a lot of pressure on us to kind of be a bit proud and not really admit when things are going wrong. And, if we get bumped off the horse, we're just supposed to get straight back on it, right? Without actually dealing with what it's made us like feel like, the feelings of failure at the time and disappointment. And damn, I've been experiencing a lot of that in the last month as well. So hopefully I'm gonna, talk you through it in today's video and give you a little bit of insight into it and like how I'm sort of dealing with it. So rewind a couple of months, I have been speaking back and forth to a few big companies. I'm trying to grow my business, right? I've worked with a lot of great clients so far, but like I'm trying to grow it even more. I'm like working out how I can grow it. And I've been speaking to a lot of big companies, and these companies, essentially, there's two of them who really wanted me to come in, do their sales and marketing, like help their teams in their sales and marketing departments, right? And both of these deals was going to be for like a lot of money. I don't want to talk about like how much it was on the channel, but like it's a lot of money they wanted to pay me for this. And anyway, we had like meeting after meeting, really getting down like the requirements of what they needed. I was telling them what I could offer and everything like this. And eventually, like we all agreed on it. We all agreed on what I was going to do. So company number one, absolutely happy. They just needed to get like the sign off from someone in their company, even though it was the CEO. They need like a department to sign off on it. Company number two, they were also really, really, really happy. They just needed to like wait a week, right? And I checked with these guys to see if there's any sort of hidden objections, to see if there's any sort of like decision makers in the companies that I needed to speak to. And both accounts were no, they were like, we want to start straight away, right? Okay, so this is where you need thick skin for sales, because it doesn't go great from here, right? So company number one, a week passes by and I'm like, have you spoken to like the department you need to speak to yet? Nothing. And I email them a week later. Have you spoken to the department you need to speak to? Nothing. These guys just completely ghosted me, right? Completely ghosted me. And the annoying thing is that I actually did quite a bit of work for these up front because they were so on board. I did a bit of work, schoolboy error, right? Absolute schoolboy error. I did a bit of work for both of these companies up front because they were so on board. And I've sat in a lot of sales meetings now, and I'm finally tuned to people who are saying they're on board who aren't really on board, and then people who are saying they're on board and they really are on board, right? And they're wanting to do it. And, I obviously missed something this time. And the second company then reached out to me 2 weeks later being like, hey, we actually don't want to do this now. We've changed our mind. We've went with someone else. Now, it's not the money that annoyed me here. It was more like the sunk time and the dedication I put into both of trying to like speak to these companies, like working them through, sitting in countless hours of like meetings with people, because I'm aiming to go more into like sort of the corporate space at the moment. And like, you need to meet a lot of people. It's not like just working with a small business and they just sign something off straight away. You need to meet person A, you need to meet person B who reports to person A. Do you know what I mean? So that's what was going on there. So I was so frigging demotivated. I was just wasted so much time. Like I take myself as quite like a sincere person. If I say I'm going to do something, even if I don't want to do it, right? I gave a person my word and said I'm going to do something and I don't do it, well, first of all, that just never happens. But like, if that would be me, I'd just feel like dirty inside. So afterwards, I was just kind of like thinking, why can't people just be honest with you? They don't want to do something. Why can't they just be honest with you? So that was like the first big point. And I was, I was feeling a bit burnt out because I've just put like a team together to help me with like content and things. And, I've been working late and I've been not really getting the sleep I should be. So I've burnt out a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna wallow for a few days actually and just take a bit of time off. So I wallowed for a few days and thought, you know what? It's time I get back on the horse and I start driving traffic. I start generating leads. I start, hitting the phones and just smashing it like this. And then I've just went through like today I've sent out over like 250 different messages to people, emails, messages. I've followed up with people and I didn't get a single lead from that. Now I'm telling you this to kind of show you that sometimes, yeah, I know my stuff in this area, right? Sometimes you can just go into a slump, and this is called a sales slump. And luckily I'm aware of this, right? That, you hit a sales slump and the best thing for you to do is just 10 times your efforts. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Just focus on like maintaining a good mental focus as well, because what happens is unless you get enough reward in your brain, you actually get really demotivated. Your brain needs to be rewarded all the time. It's not just a robot, right? So if you don't get things for your efforts, eventually you get demotivated. So I have to try and protect myself against that, because I've been through, a number of sales slumps now and a number of like big failures in like my business where like the money's not coming or, the leads aren't coming in, and you have to kind of manage that downside mentally, because it will pick up eventually. It's just the law of averages. Like, you're going to have this sales slump here. So I thought that was quite interesting. And it made me think as well, it made me think back to October last year. I did a product launch. I basically created this whole product that I knew would sell because I'd already tested it. And it took me, I put this whole course together. It was a big course in like a month. I hired like assistants to help me. I put this course together and then I learned how to actually launch a course through like email marketing and like learning all like sales page copy and things like this. And I launched this course and the product launch just bombed. Like, it did not go well at all. And I didn't sell many at all. And I just remember thinking afterwards to myself, like, what was the point in all that wasted time? And I remember thinking, I just felt like frigging failure afterwards. I was just like, I was so disappointed in myself. I was disappointed in myself, right? Because I think it's good to have high standards for yourself, but you also have to watch, and it will drive you higher. Like, perfectionism will drive you a bit further, but you also have to watch just how hard you come down on yourself there. Or, if you're working in teams, you might come down on like people around you. But I remember thinking to myself afterwards, like, frigging failure, man. Like, I've just poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this. I've got zero movement whatsoever. And it's just not working. And it's just not working. And then like the product ended up being wrong. So it was like built in the wrong way. So like a few people who did actually buy, there was like, I'd say there's about 5 people that bought, five or six. And 2 of them requested refunds within like the first 14 days. I gave like a 30-day guarantee, and 2 of them requested refunds in the first 30 days. And I was like, why have these guys requested refunds? I was like, this stuff works. And then I've got like all analytics on my side of like my course and things. And then when I actually went into the analytics, I was like, like these guys haven't done any of the course whatsoever. They've like started, and then both of them have emailed me saying this doesn't work. And it's just, I just remember being so frustrated. And the reason why, and like I wanted to hang the gloves up, I was just like, I'm frigging done with this. Like, I frigging hate entrepreneurship. Um, and I could feel myself over the last week getting like that as well. I feel actually, I'm glad I'm doing this video. I feel really good talking about this. I could feel myself over the last week thinking about that as well. Now, I have also, I'm obviously experienced at what I do, and I understand like sales slumps and things, but the weird thing is logically understanding something doesn't actually stop you from emotionally feeling something. Do you know what I mean? Like if you go through like a breakup, and it's a bad breakup, and you logically think to yourself, well, now I'm just gonna have to take some time to myself, or now I'm just gonna have to find a new partner or whatever. You might logically think that, but like the emotional damage is still there, right? It doesn't matter who you are. And I just thought to myself in the last week as well, like my business went really well in like the last 12 months. It's just grew and grew and grew and grew. And then like one thing after another, when you hit those bunch of failures, I just remember thinking to myself again, like, friggin' hell, like I've just friggin' not cut out for this. I feel weak. But the funny thing is each time you go through those cycles, your skin gets a little bit thicker. It gets a little bit thicker each time. And because of those failures, it allows you to reevaluate the terrain and like come back as a better person. So each time I've tried to do something big and then massively failed, and I felt like frigging hopeless failure afterwards, just a frigging disappointment because I crushed myself with pressure. So it's how I get things done, but like that's just what my personality is like. I crush myself with pressure. And then afterwards, when like that pain is sitting there, and like the the thickness of the skin builds a little bit, like the scar heals over a little bit. I come back stronger, I come back with like a different plan. And then sometimes I'll fail again and I'll be like, this isn't working, this isn't working. And the best thing to do, from a lot of the guys that I follow, from what I've seen, because we've all gone through failure. I was listening to Ty Lopez the other day, and he was saying like the best thing to do is if you're failing, because he's launched, tons and tons and tons of products. He went through a stage where he was launching a product a day with his business partner. He was launching a product today with his business partner, Alex, and basically what would happen at the end of the year is they would cut like 99% of them, all the failures, and then just keep the winning ones. Now, people don't have a big enough team to do this, but basically what he was saying is that when you are feeling stuck, when you cannot move forward, you're not progressing, you don't know what to do. That's the key bit. Like, you don't know what to do. He was like, you should do something, because momentum actually helps push you along. So you should be, when you really don't know what to do, you should be throwing things at a wall. I know this isn't like typical, business advice of super focused down on one thing, but sometimes, we need to talk about survival, and sometimes we need to talk about, when things aren't going right, and sometimes when your mental health is in the pit, right, because you're just failing again and again and again. And he was saying that like you just throw things at a wall and see what sticks. Keep throwing it at a wall, because the momentum, the movement generates like wins. After a while, you just keep doing it, the movement generates wins, and it gets you almost unstuck, because momentum just naturally pulls you out of being stuck. And I think, particularly from today, this is why I wanted to film this video today, is that, I just hit the sales slump for a little while, and I know my stuff as well. I know all the best principles for like the area I operate in. I consider myself like pretty damn good at what I do. I've seen like my competitors wins and things like that, and like I seem to win a lot more than them. And then you kind of have that ego that builds up, you know, oh, you know, I'm pretty good at this. I know exactly what I'm doing. And then you just go through this like crushing failure bit, right? This sales slump. Nothing works. You generate no interest. That was another thing as well. Like I built out like a whole team and got them scheduling content repeatedly on different platforms. What I didn't realize, and like I planned it out, right? I planned it out. I was like, we could schedule content here, we can schedule content here. And I planned it out. And what I didn't realize is that in 2022, scheduling content through certain types of scheduling tools kills your reach for content. So there's occasional times where you might as well not be actually posting any content because you're not getting viewed anyway. And I was just like, that hit me as well. I was like, I've just friggin' spent days drawing up all these content plans for people. I've just lost tens of thousands of pounds through these deals not coming through. And then like, I've not even managed to generate any attention using some of my best techniques. And it was just like, sales slump, kill me now. But we'll get back on the horse, right? And then tomorrow, oh, I've actually just had a message come in right now. So it's funny, I've just been filming this video and like I've got a lead in right now. So that's kind of ended that streak. But it's just funny that how your mind interprets things in the immediate moment, and it doesn't really matter. Like you build up this thick skin, but it still causes the damage anyway, even if you are, you know, you might have crushed it before, you might have been really winning before. I don't really know what I'm saying in this video, but I just thought I'd come on and just say that. And so you can see as well that even if you know all the good techniques and good strategies and had, you know, great training, you still can absolutely go through periods where you suck and you suck. There's nothing you can really do about it. You can just keep trying. So I hope you enjoyed that video. See you in the next one.